Morning. I'm hiking in the Superstition Mountains today, and that rock behind me with the silly looking hole in the middle of it kind of caught my eye. So I thought I'd stop here, and if you'll forgive me for filming with the sun at my back, talk about an anime.
The Legend of the Galactic Heroes movie.
The first Legend of Galactic Heroes movie, My Conquest of the Sea of Stars, introduced anime to a different kind of space opera science fiction universe. The human race is spread out across the galaxy, but not finding any aliens there, mankind continues to fight among itself. There's a long, seemingly unending war in progress. This movie won't go into the causes. On one side is the Galactic Empire, a huge star-spanning autocracy. On the other side is the Free Planet Alliance, a largely democratic confederation. Reinhard von Musiel is a newly promoted admiral of the Empire. He's a poor noble from a minor house whose rise to command is widely attributed to his lovely sister's relationship with the Emperor himself. The Galactic Empire seems to follow the old European tradition where nobles bought their commissions, as high a rank as they could afford, for the honor of fighting for their king. Being raised from the ranks was only for those who distinguished themselves in battle or earned political favors. By the way, Reinhardt will change his surname to von Lohengram in the following OVA series after being granted that estate and title by the Emperor. What the upper ranks don't know, but that Reinhardt's many loyal subordinates do know, is that the ambitious kid is actually a military genius. So is Reinhardt's friend and subordinate, Siegfried Kircheis, a kind red-headed young officer who's almost always by Reinhardt's side to offer advice. Together, the pair plan to change the course of history. Reinhardt is taking his newly launched fleet to the Empire's greatest outpost, Iserlohn Fortress, a giant sphere that houses a sizable military base and a small city, as well as bristling with huge weapons. In this universe, space isn't as wide open as it may appear. Navigation between some places requires certain routes, and the Iserlohn Corridor is a major navigational route between the Empire and the Alliance. Without this artifice, fixed fortifications in space would be as laughable as the Maginot Line. The scornful and jealous officers at Iserlohn Fortress aren't happy to see the new kid arrive and immediately send him orders to chase after a larger Alliance fleet that's lurking nearby in the hopes of being rid of the kid before he gets there. Reinhardt and its fleet officers immediately understand the hidden motive behind this unexpected order.
これざる客というものは門に入る前に消えてもらうのが一番ありがたい。緊急指令、総司令官ミュッケンベルガー元帥より指令あり。遠征部隊。
これが我らが要塞の私たちへの就任祝いですか。
お前だったらこの指令どう処理する？
答えはご存知のはずです。
あの方はどう動くおつもりかな。
指令には従わなければならない。
Meanwhile, in the Alliance fleet, young Winley is a brilliant junior officer who anticipates Reinhardt's plans but can't get his own foolish commanders to listen to him. Jan is a modest and unassuming young man and a bright student of battle tactics and history. Most of the older superior officers distrust him because despite his obvious modesty, Jan achieved some unwanted popularity and fame during an incident many years ago. It seems that while the Alliance is a more egalitarian society and a putative meritocracy, there's still rampant self-serving politics going on. Jan can only talk with his friend Dusty Attenborough, his confidant and fellow junior officer. Both Jan and Reinhardt have jealous and incompetent commanders over them, who are politicians first, gladiators second, and strategists not much at all. It will soon be apparent that to make the strategies clear to the audience, some of the commanders aren't just unthinking, they are mind-bogglingly stupid, falling for tricks that wouldn't fool a child. Reinhardt is ambitious and strives for greatness. Jan is modest and will have greatness thrust upon him. Both Reinhardt and Jan see the war as being a futile waste of lives and resources, and each would like to put an end to it, significantly not so much by making peace as by gaining the upper hand through more war in order to force a peace. In some ways, this movie is like 2 episodes of the soon-to-come OVA series. There are 2 separate stories. Reinhardt arrives at the Empire's shiny fortress in his new fleet and is immediately sent out into battle with a larger Alliance fleet. Despite the disadvantage of inferior numbers and having just made a long journey, Reinhardt comes up with a clever strategy. When he finally gets to the fortress after the battle, his commanders dismiss his success as mere luck. In the second half, larger alliance and Empire fleets square off, this time with Reinhardt being only one unit in the larger battle, being orchestrated by one of his other commanders, while Yang Wenli is again being ignored by his commanders. We see Reinhardt's subordinate officers have fierce loyalty to him, mainly because he's kept them alive. Jan has no subordinates this time, but he makes a lot of friends on the ship. Unlike his rival, Jan can't issue orders to anyone, and he's not very good at persuading his superiors of his unusual ideas. In this movie, the best Jan can achieve is to keep himself and his shipmates from being completely annihilated.
そうか。これは罠だ。何かあるに違いない。
いや、今だ。今攻撃するんだ。
何を言うか。これは敵の手だ。攻撃は次の手を見極めてからだ。
それでは間に合いません。
The Empire has an imperial dramatic flavor to it, full of nobles and their prerogatives. Their architecture was similarly opulent and baroque, and highly impractical for spaceships, and despite all their technology, they keep a lot of human servants around. The Alliance is a more diverse and open culture, a democracy. Its ships and architecture are practical and utilitarian. Both sides are in love with big statues of their respective heroes, however, and each serves as a modern political allegory. This movie quickly establishes a setting and begins to deal with the politics of the military on both sides, as well as the tactics used in their battles. It successfully provides a small, self-contained story that is preamble to a much longer series. It establishes Reinhardt and Yang Wenli as talented antagonists destined to meet again in the future. And it will also manage to slip in unobtrusively several minor characters who will be a lot more important in the later, very much longer OVA series. While the space battles do have some three-dimensional components, it's disappointing that all the ships have artificial gravity. When a space opera is made as a live-action video, that's necessary because it's going to be filmed down on planet Earth, and the actors are going to have to stand around. But with animation, zero gravity doesn't require any special effects or extra budget, just imaginative artists. The movie, as well as the following OVAs, were directed by Noboru Ishiguro, who also directed the first Megazone 2-3 OVA, as well as Macross, Orgus, and other TV sci-fi series and movies. The art is excellent, bringing two very different cultures to the screen. The animation is limited and rather stiff. Big space battles are given depth with a few cells of multi-layered camera. Characters often have just moving lips, and they don't move around much, though they do like to talk a lot. These are battles of spaceships arranged in neat ranks, so they don't need much detailed animation there either. This may be billed as a movie, but it's more a 60-minute OVA than a theatrical release, and it has a budget and animation style similar to the OVA series that would follow, including an old 4:3 TV aspect ratio. The music is classical throughout. That provides a much broader array of soundtrack than an original composition would allow. In the second half, a lengthy space battle is orchestrated to the sound of Ravel's Bolero. I give the first Legend of Galactic Heroes movie, My Conquest of the Sea of Stars, 4 stars. For those interested in a galaxy-spanning sci-fi space opera that's more political than action-oriented, and are willing to listen to a lot of talking, this is an excellent start. None of the Legend of Galactic Heroes videos have had a US release. I'll probably be back to talk about the OVA series sometime soon. Thanks for watching.